Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Sivan, gedola, liot, liot, besimcha. Sivan, gedola, liot, liot, besimcha. Sivan, gedola, liot, liot, besimcha. Sivan, gedola, liot, besimcha. Sivan, gedola, liot, 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Sivan gedola, liot besimcha. Sivan gedola, liot liot besimcha. Sivan gedola, liot liot besimcha. Sivan gedola, liot besimcha. Someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles.
It portrays observant Jewish couples as somehow coerced into having large families and delegating the wife to be pregnant, barefoot, and in the kitchen without any prospects for a career or any aspirations of her own. And there's nothing further than the truth. My wife likes to say that we have many children, not because we have to, but because we want to. People turn to me and Mike in our community and they say, Rabbi, leave her alone, have mercy upon her, give her a break.
That's my pet peeve.
As if somehow
That's
it's
my
my
pet peeve.
fault.
I'm like, in 2022, do you think I'm just some opinionless object in all of this? Like, really? Like, do
What
you
an
really
insult.
think like I have no say in the matter? Like, I just let this happen to me.
Breakfast with Elli.
מודה אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli on Tuesday. Yom Tov, the big day. Day that Hashem said twice. It is the 6th day to the 17th day of Sivan. The year 5783, the year of HaYom. The Torah portion is Behaalosecha and HaYom Yom Shlishi, the third chapter of Thomas. I will be learning the third Aliyah. Good morning. How are you? What's happening? Hope everything is good where you are and that, weather hasn't gotten you down. Over here, we're having a little bit of weather. It's really weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's very strange out here. It rained already this morning. And now the skies are absolutely positively clear. So, what can I tell you? You never know. You never know. All right. We should get started. Men and boys, take your two front tzitzis. Let's make a bracha on the tzitzis. Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
All right. Fantastic. Everyone together, al divrei Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
All right. Hareini mekabel.
הריני מקבל עלי מצוות עשה של ואהבת לרעך כמוך. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right, Torah Tziva.
Torah ציווה לנו משה מורשה קהילת יעקב. תורה ציווה לנו משה מורשה קהילת יעקב.
All right, excellent. Now, just let me make this screen a little bit bigger so I can see here. All right, time to give tzedakah.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, fantastic. All right, Erev Tov. Yes, it's the middle of the night over there. Tzedakah has now been given. And that takes us to the saying of the Shema. Please take your right hand and place it over your eyes.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Excellent. And that takes us to breakfast. All right. I am ready with my coffee and my yogurt. Are you ready with whatever you've got? I hope you're having an evening meal with us. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihya b'dvaroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way.
All right. Today in Jewish history. All right. Here we go. Today, Tuesday, Noah's Ark arrived on Mount Ararat 7 months after the beginning of the Great Flood. 17 days after the waters covering the earth began to subside, the Ark, Teva, sheltering Noah, his family, and members of all animal species, came to rest on the still submerged summit of Har Ararat, Mount Ararat. The Hashmonaim captured and settled in Migdal Tzur from the Greek army and proclaimed this day a holiday. Jewish insurgent forces captured the fortress of Antonia in Yerushalayim in the year 65. Battle marked the outbreak of the Jewish revolt against Rome. And today in 1286, Rabbi Meir of Rottenburg was imprisoned. The German ocean liner, the St. Louis, carrying more than 900 Jewish refugees, was turned away from the Florida coast by U.S. officials in 1939. Voyage of the Damned, they called that. The German military commander of occupied France ordered all Jews to wear a yellow Star of David with the inscription Juif, Jew, in 1942. And I think that's all we'll do for today. Some of it's a little bit gruesome there. I don't like gruesome. It's true. It's true. I'm very easygoing when it comes to gruesomeness. All right. Yes. Okay. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Ukrainian relief. Okay. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Ukrainian relief. Okay. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Hire you. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Hire you. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Hire you. So now, you know what we haven't talked about in a while? Hire you. So now.
How long have you been looking for an employee and can't find one? Thousands of Ukrainian refugees have arrived in the U.S. and Canada. Most of them are qualified to work in a variety of jobs. Our office is in constant touch with them. That's why we've built a state-of-the-art automation system that will connect tens of thousands of employees with you. At Ukraine Working Center, we will provide your personal guidance from professional recruiters. We'll support you throughout the process until you find the perfect employee. At the click of a button, we will find the perfect employee for you. This way, you can help both your business and the refugees of the war in Ukraine. Fill out the form today and select the right candidate for you. This way, you can help both your business.
All right, go to breakfastwithelli.live/hire Ukrainian for more information. All right, HaYom Yom for today, the 17th day of Sivan.
So the Jewish people are gathered around Har Sinai, Mount Sinai, and in just a couple of days, Hashem is going to give the people the Torah. And there's great anticipation and excitement. And then comes instruction, a unique instruction from Hashem. And it's addressed to married people. And Hashem says that for the couple of days leading up to the giving of the Torah, there is to be no intimacy, which is a peculiar instruction from a Jewish standpoint. For the most part, Judaism would appear to reject the virtue of abstention. In general, rabbis, Jewish clergy get married and are supposed to live a physical married life. We tend to we are instructed to embrace the physical world around us in a permissible way within the framework of the Torah's guidelines. But the idea of rejecting physical life, physical activity, physical pleasures seems very foreign to our faith. And yet, this is the instruction from Hashem to the people. Why? What's the explanation? Today's HaYom sheds some light on this. Says the HaYom, refraining world. That's not what we call avodah. That is not the spiritual mission of man in this world. So what is it then? A waste of time? No. Says the HaYom, it is a fine preparation for avodah. So denying yourself physical pleasure is not your mission, but it's a good way to put yourself into the right mode, to gain the proper footing, the proper focus, to be ready for your spiritual mission in this world. Okay, so what's your spiritual mission? Avodah is transforming the physical into a vehicle for godliness. So once the Jewish people received the Torah, they were now empowered not to reject the world around them, but to embrace the world and to derive benefit from the world and make the world engage the world in a proper and meaningful way. That's the true mission of man in this world from the Jewish perspective. So abstention, denial, once in a while, saying no to yourself, denying yourself, once in a while could be a healthy thing, but only to put yourself into the proper mode, to sharpen. Sometimes in life, you feel that you've slipped a little bit, or you're losing focus, and you need to kind of strengthen your convictions and put yourself on the proper path. So then, as a temporary measure, maybe saying no to yourself once in a while, even when we're talking about something permissible, could be a healthy thing. But that's really not what life is about. That is the means to the end. The end, once you're empowered and properly focused, is to get out there, engage the world, engage in physical, material living, but do it in a proper, higher, spiritual, and meaningful way.
And there you have it. The best way to handle that. All right, and now a word from our sponsor.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzane Group. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzanegroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565. And order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzanegroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications. logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Torah, 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 Sivan lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Sivan lanu Moshe.
All right. Patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/tipjar if you would like to contribute today. Thank you so much. All right. How is it that the opposing passages of Behaalosecha are comprised within the same parsha? First, we are told to light the menorah until the wicks catch fire and burn on their own. And then we are then we are asked to consider the fact that the parsha's name, Behaalosecha, taken from the fact that we kindle the candelabra, actually means to raise up. Behaalot, Aliyah, referring to the instruction making the flame go up on its own. So how does the image of raising the world's divine consciousness until it's burning from within its own fit with the moral decline that unfolds as our narrative progresses? Well, we can begin to understand this by recalling that the divine mission is to make the world into Hashem's home, and that applies to all aspects of reality. Indeed, the only way that can be accomplished is if we transform all aspects of life into facets and elements of our relationship with Hashem. It's not enough to feel close to Hashem or to teach others to feel close to Hashem when we or they are explicitly involved in holy acts, learning the Torah, fulfilling Hashem's mitzvahs. Divine consciousness must permeate our mundane pursuits as well. Now, this attitude towards life can be acquired through practice, by training ourselves and others to overcome the natural tendency of material reality that obscures Hashem's presence in our lives. Divine life then becomes second nature, ultimately as natural as the material outlook was before. The more profound way of remaking ourselves or others, however, is by revealing our innate divinity. Now, when we are made fully aware of Hashem's existence, that is the only true reality, and all other reality is merely contingent on Hashem's reality, then we uncover our true nature. As part of Hashem's absolute reality, our consciousness is divine consciousness. We discover that the attitude of seeing Hashem everywhere and being aware of Him in everything we do is not second nature, something that supersedes our first nature, but is in fact our primary nature, our real self, that's even more deeply part of us than what we thought was our first nature. Yesterday at the Apple event, besides introducing the new operating systems, Sonoma for the Mac OS and iOS 17 for the phone, iPad, and television, and watchOS 10, they introduced Apple Vision Pro. Apple Vision Pro is a new VR reality, augmented reality headset. It looks amazing, absolutely amazing. Everything that they showed about it was wow, and then another wow, and then another wow. And could it get better and better and better? And as Brad and I were watching, we were debating, okay, how much does it cost? I started at $399. and I went up to $5.99 when I saw all the features that it had. I said, okay, this thing's going to cost about $600. And then I thought, you know what? They're probably going to sell it for $7, $8, or $9.99. It's going to be $1,000. It really is. I mean, the Astro was $1,000, was $999. So this is probably going to be about that, right? And then they came out with the price tag of $34.99, and we both went, nope, big mistake. That's where you lost us, Apple. Apple, oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. $3,500 for a VR headset. I don't care if it dances and sings the blues. That's a little bit outrageous. Now, one of our friends who used to work for Apple said that, first of all, it's not coming out till next year. And so there could be price reductions between now and then. Second of all, since they're calling it the Apple Vision Pro, there's probably an Apple Vision which has less features that they will sell for around $1,000. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The point of telling you about virtual reality was that we just talked about uncovering our true nature as part of Hashem's absolute reality. Our consciousness is divine consciousness. So it triggered the thought of the virtual reality. We are not in virtual reality. That's the inner meaning of kindling the wick until it burns on its own. We have to strive to refine ourselves and others and the world around us until everyone and everything's intrinsic divine nature is revealed. And therefore, that will burn with divine consciousness as part of its own inherent nature. Or a more refined level, this means revealing the inherent divinity within our rebellions as well. Only then, when we have accomplished this, will we truly and fully have made this world into Hashem's home. To be sure, mutiny, or on a more refined level, thoughts of mutiny, must be quashed as quickly as possible. And all of this requires that we force ourselves to acquire a second divine nature. So be it. But the more profound way of quelling rebellion is by exposing its true nature. Our refusal to be satisfied with our present understanding of Hashem and our revulsion against the shallowness of our relationship with Him. Our rebellion articulates our despair. If this is all there is to divine life, I want nothing of it. And we will talk more about this tomorrow. In the third Aliyah, on the first anniversary of Yetzias Mitzrayim, of the Exodus, the Jews are instructed to bring the Korban Pesach, the Paschal offering. Certain individuals could not, however, participate because they were ritually impure. So these people brought a complaint, which Moshe then transmitted to Hashem. They said, why should we suffer because we are not tameh, we are not tahar? So Hashem responded by designating Pesach Sheni, a second Pesach, to be observed exactly 1 month later. Anyone who could not offer the Paschal offering in its proper time must do so on Pesach Sheni. And then, at the end of the third Aliyah, Hashem informs Moshe of the laws of Pesach Sheni. And now, Shnayim Yomi.
Parshas Behaalosecha, the Aliyah of Shlishi. In the Aliyah of Shlishi, we begin with the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Bnei Yisrael that just like they brought the Korban Pesach in Mitzrayim, so too they have to bring the Korban Pesach in the Midbar, And of course, as we know, we continue to bring the Korban Pesach in Eretz Yisrael with the building of the Beis HaMikdash and the Mishkan in Eretz Yisrael and the building of the Beis HaMikdash. However, we read in Shlishi that there were a group of people that were not able to bring the Korban Pesach. And that's because these people were tamei. They were impure, they were ritually impure. They had come into contact with a corpse, with a dead body, and therefore they were ritually impure. Someone who's tamei is not allowed to bring the Korban Pesach. So you would think they're exempt, but no. They came to Moshe Rabbeinu and they complained, we want to bring the Korban Pesach. We want to be involved in this mitzvah. So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't exactly know what to do. So he tells the people, hold on, and let's consult the Ribbon Shalom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and says, these people are correct, they should have a role in the mitzvah. And therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu decreed what we know to be Pesach Sheni. That in addition to bringing the regular Korban Pesach on Yud Daled Nisan, we also have an opportunity for those who are not able to bring the Korban Pesach on Yud Daled Nisan, we have the opportunity to bring the Korban Pesach on Yud Daled Iyar, the following month, what we call Pesach Sheni. We still celebrate Pesach Sheni today. We don't say Tachanun on Pesach Sheni. There are many among the Hasidim who really celebrate Pesach Sheni in a very significant way. And then finally, at the very end of the Aliyah, the Torah emphasizes that this mitzvah of Korban Pesach applies to a ger, to a convert as well, just like to a regular born-in member of the Jewish people. And if you think about it, this is such an important concept, because although of course we believe that the Jewish people are special, we also believe that every single human being was created in B'Tselem Elokim, and every single human being can join the Jewish people, can join the ranks of the Jewish people through conversion. We, of course, as Jews, don't proselytize. We don't go out and try to encourage people to convert. But if people come and they sincerely want to convert to the Jewish people, we welcome them with open arms, to the point where the Torah says, V'ahavtem es hager, you have to love a convert, and you have to accept a convert and a ger with open arms. And we know in our community so many wonderful gerei tzedek, both men and women, who have seen the truth of Yiddishkeit, seen the truth of the Torah, and have joined the ranks of the Jewish people, and were reminded at the end of the Aliyah that they are a significant part of the Jewish people as well.
All right. Rabbi Silverstein. All right. Rabbi Silverstein. All right.
With your friends, wherever you are, please put some
Rabbi Silverstein.
in the pushka, and put some for me too. I don't have a pushka here right now. As you
All
said,
right.
driving outside. With your friends, wherever you are, just driving on the highway.
Rabbi Silverstein.
Pushka, and put some for me too. I don't have a pushka seeing right these now. Huge 48 footer trailers. Just driving on the highway.
Rabbi Silverstein.
Put some for me too. Open flatbed. Seeing these huge London footer trailers. Thinking about the transportation mode they had in the open flatbed for the Mishkan down the Midbar in the desert. Think about where transportation mode they had to disassemble the entire base Mishkan, and then they had to reassemble it, but they also had to transport it from one place to the other. They had to disassemble the entire base Mishkan, and then they had to reassemble it, but they also had to transport it from one place to the other. They had to disassemble the entire base Mishkan, and then they had to reassemble it, but they also had to transport it from one place to the other. They had to disassemble the entire base Mishkan. Among the things they had to transport was relatively primitive wagons. 48 of them. Size they had to transport was, as it says, 20 cubits high, 48, approximately 45 feet high. Cubit and a half, as it says, 20 cubits high, 1 cubit thick, 42 feet thick. Acacia wood, covered in half, as it says, pretty big, pretty heavy. 1 cubit, 48 of them, 2 feet thick. How many wagons do you think they would use for that? I would guess man-pushed wagons, 148 of them. 2 maximum. How many wagons do you think the Torah tells us that he used the total I would guess 4 wagons, meaning 12 beams maximum. How many wagons do the Torah tells us That he used the total I would guess 4 wagons. They found a few more wagons. 12 people. They built the whole Mishkan. Gold and silver, most precious metals. Suddenly they became cheap on wagons. They found a few more wagons. 12 people. They built the whole Mishkan. Gold. So the Rebbe brings up a beautiful thought and says the following. Suddenly the concept says everything which is created in this world is here for the Rebbe. There's not one little insect. Yes, my friends, even mosquitoes. Everything which is created that are created here for no reason. Every single there's not one little grass blade. Yes, my friends, even mosquitoes. Everything which has a purpose. You know the same story with David HaMelech when he was wondering why does grass create spiders? And then his life was saved. You know the same spider when he was being pursued by the army of King Saul. And then his life was saved in the caves. Spider one of the caves when he was hid, pursued by the miraculously spider made a huge and then his life when the soldiers saw fresh cod by the fire the cave when cod was nobody is inside. So they went looking for some other caves, and that's how his life was spent. And that's what David HaMelech said. Nobody got the answer to me. So they went looking for what would be some other caves. Now, we don't necessarily know why each little insect exists, but they have for a reason. What would be some other caves? Now, the Mishkan, we don't necessarily know why God's presence, but they have God's revealed presence in this world. Now, has the same concept. Nothing is done in vain. Everything has a reason. Has the same, it is possible to transport those huge beings. Everything on 4 wagons, meaning 12 wagons. It is possible. That's all we need. And we don't need to waste it. We don't need to have more than this on 4 wagons, meaning 12. Which gives us over here an important message. That's all we need. And we don't realize waste it. We don't need to have more than everything, every little act. Which gives us over here an important is not insignificant. And we don't realize every deed. Good, everything, every little act. And even unfortunately sometimes is not the opposite of it. To realize every deed has a tremendous impact. Good, everything. We all know the butterfly effect. And even unfortunately sometimes a butterfly flapping its tiny wings on the other side of the world could have a tremendous effect good in the other part. We all know the butterfly effect. So this is what the Torah is teaching us butterfly flap to realize wings on the other side of the world could have a tremendous effect good in the other part. We all know the butterfly. So this is what the Torah is teaching us. This concurs with the Rebbe told the reporter when he asked him, what is your message on Mashiach to the world? And the Rebbe said, Mashiach is ready to come. He's already here. All we need to do is to add a little in the realm. And the Rebbe says, as the Rebbe often quotes, and actually all we need to courage is to add a size the Rambam. The Rambam says that one should always look at the world on an even scale of 50 good, 50 even perfectly balanced scale, 50 good and 50 the Rambam says. And one mind, one deed of mind will tip the scale for the good and will bring the whole world into the good. And one mind, the world of goodness, the world of perfection, the world of Mashiach. So my friends, all it takes is just one more mitzvah and we'll meet in Mashiach.
Love it. I absolutely positively love it. He's amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right. Let's go with Rabbi Lewin today. He's
the
amazing.
Power of
Absolutely
democracy.
amazing.
In this
All
week's
right.
Pasha Behaalosecha, we are given an insight and a
Let's go with
lesson
Rabbi Lewin
about
today.
the importance and the
He's
power of
amazing.
democracy. Moses, our leader, has been the leader of the Jewish people now for over a year. He's struggling to deal with the constant attacks and problems that are besieging the camp. And God tells Moses, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to appoint 70 elders from the nation of Israel that will assist you as judges of the land, 6 from each of the tribes. But as we know, there are 12 tribes. So how did it work? There could only 70 elders judges of the land. These judges would lose out in their position. Their names are known to us. They're called Eldad and Medad. And in the Torah story, they are told that there are 2 men prophesying in the camp of Israel. Who were these 2 men? None other than Eldad and Medad. What was their prophecy? And in the Torah story, commentator Rashi, quoting the Medrash, says, Moshe Yamot, Yoshua Yachnis et ha'am la'aretz. Moses will die, it says, and Joshua will Moshe yamut, and Yeshua yachnis. What shock! The great Moses will not lead the people into the land of Israel. Remember, Moshe yamut to the sin of the spies. Moses' intention was to go into the land of Israel. We read it in this parasha this week. No, remember, we're going to the land. Yes, Eldad and Medad, prophet, are saying dissenting words. Moses will not lead the people into the land. This is unacceptable to Joshua. He says, Klaim, arrest them, punish them, silence them. How can you have these voices? This is unacceptable to Joshua. He says, in Klaim, arrest them. Moses says, Halavai, how can you have these voices in human beings? Every single member of the camp of Israel, he arrest them. Moses says, Halavai, how can you have these voices? Here is an attack against Moses. Eldad and Medad have made a claim against him which would undermine his leadership. Here is response, an attack against Moses. Eldad and Medad have made a claim against him, and that is what it means to be part of a democracy. It is allowing for the voices of the minority to be heard, even if it's unacceptable to us. And there's always a danger in democracy that people will say, we are the majority it's unacceptable, and therefore let's try and silence the voices of the minority. This is the voice that we hear from within the camp. Silence these upstarts from even attempting with this to go against Moses. And Moses teaches us a powerful lesson that when it comes to democracy, there is a need to hear this voice. There's a brilliant interpretation within our sages. The jealousy of the scholars. There's a brilliant wisdom. When we come into the presence of someone brighter than us, cleverer than us, more talented than us, we have always two responses. The one is to try and put them down, the other is to be inspired and learn from them. Kinat Sofrim, say our rabbis, the jealousy of the scholars, we're always going to elevate the discourse and the conversation. There's a very famous story that is told about the French philosopher Voltaire. He said like this, when approached by a particular character who was against him. He wrote as follows, I will fight with every ounce of my power against the detestable view of this odious individual. But I will fight with equal energy to establish his right against the express his view. And that is what a liberal democracy is all about. The ability to hear the voice of others, even if in my eyes they are detestable, that is to allow that voice to be heard. It's the ability to hear the voice of the modern even if in my eyes they are detestable, that is to allow that voice. We live in a world in which cancel culture is prevalent. We have someone disagrees with us, they need to be silenced. When someone has a different view to us, they need to be cancelled. That is not a democracy, that is a dictatorship. When someone has an authoritarian behavior, where only my view is the one that counts. Democracy always prided itself on the rule of the majority, but more importantly, only majority is the one that protects the rights of the minority. In the book of Esther, it speaks about Mordechai being the prime minister of the land of Persia, and he was Ahuv Lerov Echad, his beloved by the majority of Mordechai of his brothers. Not everyone will agree with what you have to say, and that is fine because that can only help with the discourse. Because no one has ownership over the truth. So let us pride ourselves in democracy. Let us take the spirit that Moshe Rabbeinu tries to instill with us in this parasha and allow for the voice of others to be heard, because it's only through those voices that we can actually grow as a society and a community. Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, this is Rabbi Lua, and if you've enjoyed the content of the sermons and the ideas that have been expressed in the YouTube video, please hit that subscription button and notification bell, and share the videos with friends. We love to grow the channel. We love to engage with you. Please share your comments in the section below, and I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing day. We love to grow the channel. We love to engage with you. Please share your comments in the section below, and I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing day. We love to grow the channel. We love to engage with you.
All right, and Chana Weisberg All right, and Hannah Weisberg.
Sarah is an elementary school teacher. She teaches her students reading, writing, and arithmetic. But along with these subjects, she also teaches them life lessons and morals. So Sarah tries to make her lessons relevant to the lives of her students. But along with these subjects, she does so by realizing all the different types of learning styles. So Sarah tries to make her lessons relevant. Some learn through more visual, some through more audio, some through more practical, and some through more abstract. She carefully plans her lessons to cater to all these learning styles so that the lessons are relevant and that her students take them home with them and apply it to all areas of their lives. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Behaalosecha, which means when you light up. In it, Aaron was commanded to light the flames of the menorah. The menorah had 7 branches, 3 on the right, 3 on the left, and 1 in the center. Aaron was commanded to light the flames of the menorah until they lit and shone brightly on their own accord. Each of these flames were positioned to face the center. The spiritual message of the menorah is that we can each be a lamplighter. We can each light up the souls of those around us with a kind word, with a warm smile, and with a meaningful lesson. But we can only do so. We can only light up another person and make them shine on their own accord, shine brightly. If we realize that the menorah had not one, but 7 different branches. We are all so different. We are all so unique. If we realize that the menorah has and needs, but as long as we all face the center, as long as our goals are upright, moral, and godly, we can go about them in our own unique way. Though the menorah had so many different components, it was hammered out of one solid piece of gold. The message of the menorah to us is we need to be united as one solid nation with one singular purpose of lighting up each other is we need to be united as one solid nation with one singular purpose of lighting up each other is we need to be united as one.
All right. Fantastic. Do we have time for Rabbi Garari today? All right. Fantastic.
One of the most frustrating things is when you're trying to inspire someone, when you're trying to influence someone, change them, and it's not working. One of the most frustrating things, and you get frustrated to the point where you think, maybe this person just doesn't have it. Maybe they don't have the spark, maybe they don't have the potential to grow, to be inspired, to improve, and so on and so forth. Maybe this person just doesn't have it. This week's parsha tells us, Parshat Behaalosecha, that Aaron the high priest improve and so on and so forth, was given the commandment to kindle the menorah, the candelabra in the temple every single day. The Kabbalists tell us that the 7 candles that Aaron kindled daily represented 7 types of different souls, corresponding to the 7 emotions that govern our personality. Because there are so many different types of people. There are 7 different types of people. A different way of doing it is there are 12 tribes, there are 600,000 souls. There are many, many differences. But when Aaron kindled the menorah, Aaron kindled the flames. Each flame represented a soul. And when Aaron was kindling that flame, he was igniting that soul, uncovering the hidden passion, discovering and exploring the hidden spark. And when Aaron was kindling the lesson that Aaron was told with this mitzvah is that everyone has a soul. Everyone has a passion. Everyone has a spark. Everyone has the potential and the ability to flicker and to glow and to grow. Everyone has a passion. Now in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, we are taught everyone is commanded and instructed to be the disciples of Aaron. Each one of us has to be an Aaron. Each one of us have a circle of influence. Every one of us have people who we can inspire, we come into contact. Each one of us has to be an Aaron. The lesson we learn each one of us, and the mitzvah of kindling the menorah in this week's parsha, every one of us have people that everyone has a spark. We just have to find a way to ignite it, to light that wick, to light that candle. Everyone has a spark. Have a good Shabbos.
fantastic. And yes, thank you, Hashem.
So this next parasha, Parshas Behaalosecha, Klal Yisrael begin to travel from Har Sinai to Eretz Yisrael. We begin our journey towards Eretz Yisrael. And what's amazing is that the first thing that happens as we begin to travel towards Eretz Yisrael is that it says in Pasuk, V'asafsov b'kir b'misavotava, that all of a sudden there's a bunch of Yidden in Klal Yisrael that they all of a sudden were overcome by an urge to have meat and to have physical food, and they began to complain about the mun. And it's like out of nowhere, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is upset, and it's a whole story. But the obvious question is, why all of a sudden now? I mean, they were eating mun until now. Why all of a sudden now are they beginning to become a little bit less interested in mun, a little bit more desiring physical food? And so Reb Tzadok of Lublin explains that this is not a coincidence. The fact that when they begin to travel towards Eretz Yisrael, all of a sudden now they have these desires for meat and so on. It's not a coincidence. Says Rav Tzadok, the whole purpose, the whole tachlis of Klal Yisrael, the entire mission of the Jewish people is not to remain in the desert, so to speak. It's not to remain in a place that's completely spiritual. The tachlis of creation and the mission of the Jewish people to fulfill this purpose of creation is, as Chazal say, to make this world a dir b'tachtainim, to make this world a dwelling place for God, to turn physical life and to uplift physical life, to transform it into a place that God's comfortable in, that God can reside in, that God is going to be able to be proud of. And so Eretz Yisrael is not just a place, therefore. Eretz Yisrael is the epicenter of that avodah, of that mission, of that goal of transforming physical life into something transcendent. Every Shabbos is connected with Eretz Yisrael. Every Shabbos we enter into Shabbos with L'chadaydi, talking about Mikdash, Melech, and Melucha, talking about Yerushalayim. Why is Eretz Yisrael, why is Yerushalayim talked about on Shabbos? Because Shabbos is also this inyan. Shabbos, there's a mitzvah to eat, there's a mitzvah to sleep, there's a mitzvah to enjoy oneself. Because the physicalities of Shabbos are transformed into vehicles to connect to Hashem through. And that's what Shabbos is, that's what Eretz Yisrael is. When the Jewish people, says Rav Tzadok, are beginning their journey towards Eretz Yisrael, that inyan, the potential for physical life and for physical food and physical pleasures to be uplifted and transformed, it begins to bubble within them, therefore, a desire for physical things. But that desire that they had for physical things, which all of a sudden is being triggered because of their traveling towards Eretz Yisrael, is for one purpose, which is ultimately for those physical things to be transformed and uplifted. And so says Rav Tzadok, this is now therefore a principle in all life. Whenever a person finds themselves tempted by things of this world, they should know that really what's happening is that the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling you that you have to take your avodah to the next level. You have to take your avodah, you have to take physical life and uplift it. You have to become more Eretz Yisraelic. And that's what's going on. It doesn't necessarily mean with that particular inyan that you're being drawn to right now, that particular thing might be something that's not good for you. It's unhealthy, or it's God forbid forbidden. But the very fact that we desire physical things is for one purpose. The reason why the Rebbeinu Shalom made us in such a way that we desire physical things is because our mission is to uplift physical things. So we have to be drawn to it in order to fulfill our mission of uplifting it. And that's ultimately what the goal is. And that's why on our way to Eretz Yisrael, all of a sudden, physical life was more appealing to them. And physical life, was something that they were drawn to. They didn't know how to handle it at first, so it becomes something destructive initially. But that attraction that they had to physical life was ultimately there because of their ultimate purpose of being in Eretz Yisrael, of uplifting physical life. To uplift physical life, you have to understand it, you have to know it, you have to be even attracted to it. And that's exactly for the ultimate purpose of Klal Yisrael. No, all of us, we have to be able to appreciate and to understand the world that we're drawn to. We're not being drawn to the world. We're being sent into the world to uplift it. And in order to uplift it, we have to understand it. We have to be able to learn to speak the language of the world. But it's not we're being schlepped to it. We're going there with a purpose and with a mission and with a mindset of uplifting it. Hashem should help us. We should be zachar to remember that mission, to remember that mindset, and both individually and collectively be zachar to see the redemption of our people. Be as called tzedek and me'er v'yemeinu. Amen.
All right. And there you have it.
Time for Tehillim. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim, Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim, Al Yedei Amiras Tehillim, Tisoyrecha Vatzeles HaShoroin.
All right. The saying of Tehillim, so vitally and crucially and amazingly important. Please, when you get a chance, say Tehillim all the time. It is really, really, really important. Okay? We're going to sing chapter 122 today. All the time. It is really, really, really important. Okay? We're going to sing chapter 122 today. All the time. It is really, really
Shamala Yisrael, Bisa Makti, Vimli, Vesalino, Yinay, oh, even I saw you down the lane,
Moving on to Tanya for today, the 17th day of Sivan.
Tanya thoughts for the 17th of Sivan. Now we can finally understand that verse from Deuteronomy. You'll recognize it. It's the last sentence of the Aleinu paragraph we say at the best part of davening, the end. Know this day, intellectualize, take it to heart, feel it, that it is all one. Hashem is Elohim. Nature, infinity, time, higher than time, rigid discipline, artistic expression. It's all one. It's all Hashem. It's all God. It's all good.
Let's talk Tanya for the 17th of Sivan. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that although we have these two seemingly contradictory or opposite forces within God, there is Havaya, the power of God's creation, God's creative energy. There's Elohim, which is the power of concealment. In actuality, they work hand in hand together. The purpose being to create a world, the world which we have in front of us today. And just to understand just how incredible this is, usually when you have two opposing forces working with each other, they work together with each other because they reach some sort of compromise, or each one tempers or weakens the other one. In our case, what's incredible is we have God's creative power, which is in no way weakened or mitigated or tempered, because God's creation, God creates the whole universe, everything within it. The power of restraint or concealment doesn't in any which way impede upon God's creative energy. And at the same time, God's creative energy is absolute, and the concealment is also absolute. With all the fact that God's creative energy is everywhere and everything and doing everything, the concealment still is absolute. Each one is at full force, and yet they are working together. And with this, we'll understand the verse with which we started Shar Yichud V'Amunah. We started chapter 1 of Shar Yichud V'Amunah by quoting the verse, V'yadata HaYom v'hashevesa el levavecha. The Moshe tells the Jewish people that you should know today and take it to your heart, Ki Havaya hu Elokim, that Havaya is Elokim, Bashamayim mimal v'la'aretz mitachas, and the heavens above and the earth below, ein oid, there is nothing besides Hashem. And now we'll have a much deeper understanding of this verse. Moshe Rabbeinu was telling the Jewish people, I want you to know and I want you to understand, I want you to take to heart. Ki Havaya hu Elikim. Havaya and Elikim are one and the same. These aren't two opposing forces that there's any conflict or tension between them, or they have different agendas. Ultimately, it's all about creating the world, and Elokim, the concealment, is also part of the creative energy of God, because that is part of the intention that there should be a world wherein there is this concealment. And therefore, it's not as if, from the perspective of Havaya, there's nothing but God. From the perspective of Elokim, there's concealment, there's creation. No, Havaya hu Elokim. It's all one. Havaya and Elokim are one, and therefore, Bashamayim imal v'la'aretz mitachas, in the heavens above and the earth below, ein oid, there's nothing but God. Because whether you're looking at Havaya or Elokim, they're both one, and both of them are only expressions of God and His creative energy. The last two words of this pasuk is ein oid. There is nothing else. There is nothing more. And in tomorrow's Tanya, we're going to further analyze those two words, and then we'll have a complete understanding of this entire verse.
Thank you for joining Tanya in 5. Today's lesson for the 17th of Sivan. We continue in chapter 6. Chapter 6 in Shar Yuchud is one word, hiskalus, a coming together, a union, a mutual inclusion. We're talking about the inclusion of the attributes, one with the other. And it is evident that God, He and His attributes are one. That's not like us. We are not one with our attributes. Our attributes, meaning our kindness, our judgment, our compassion, is a compound. We are compounded of several different qualities. Therefore, we could choose one over the other. Sometimes one will be more, a choice in our lives, and then other times we'll choose Gvur over Chesed, for example. But by God, they are united with each other and they comprise each other. They are totally one, not in a compound way, but a simplistic whole oneness. This is what it says in the Zohar, that you are He who binds the attributes together and unites them. The meaning is, of all this, what we started off at the very beginning in chapter 1, the Alter Rebbe asked a question based on the verse that we should take unto our heart that Havaya hu Elokim, that Hashem is Elokim, and that there are no other, there's nothing else, no other gods. So we understood this to mean, no other gods. We have to take that to heart so much that underneath the earth somewhere we're going to find a god, another deity. So the meaning of this is that there are two names of God, Havaya and Elokim, and they are not two different powers that are working in different ways, but they're actually one. Even though the name of Elokim, which contracts and conceals on the light and the quality of Chesed, but it doesn't. It does not hide on God, because since the attributes are one with God, so just like I can't hide from myself, so likewise God's not hiding from Himself. All He is doing is concealing Himself from us. So that means that in the heavens above and the earth below, ein oid, there is nothing else besides Him, means that the immaterial world, and as it appears to our eyes that is actually existing, is a independent being, is actually not an independent being. It is the name of Elokim that conceals and contracts the light and the life force from the lower creatures, from us, but not from God. God, it's not hidden from Him. Therefore, even the earth and all that which is below is total nothingness before God. Even we can't say that it is ein oid, which the term oid means nothing else suggests that it is subordinate. The terms that it's subordinate, something to the idea of the way the body receives its vitality from the soul. What is the the most important thing is the soul giving its vitality to the body. So the body is considered oid. It's else. It's other words, secondary. The soul is primary and giving us that vitality. And therefore, the soul gets its vitality from Shem Havaya, the body gets its vitality from Shem Elokim, but the truth is, this is not the way we can look at God. God is Ein Oid, even that you can't say that there's something else. Why? Because the body and the soul ultimately come from two separate sources. The body has its own existence, but God brings into existence everything ex nihilo, not just giving vitality to the body, to the world as the soul rather gives to the body, but God brings everything into existence from absolute nothingness, and in relation to Him, it's totally nullified, like the sun, the light of the sun is nullified within the sun. And this is the idea of Einay, there's nothing else but Him, meaning that He is the only true reality, not that there's a subordinate to Him, that He is the primary God, but there's something else. No, there is nothing else but Him. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
That was a long session today. All right, Pirkei Avot.
Him. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
We are on chapter 2. That was a number session today. All right, Pirkei Avot.
Him. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
We are on chapter 2. That was a number session today. All right, Pirkei Avot.
Him. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
We are on chapter 2. That was a number session today. All right,
in the most recent edition of the Torah Daily Prayer Book, known as the Green Siddur, on page 524. Just before we delve into the wording itself, a little background to the Mishnah. We have something new. We come across a new era here in Jewish history. Up until now, there's always been one leader of the Jewish community. Here we begin what's known as the period in the era of the pairs, whereby there were two leaders of the Jewish community. One was the Nasi and one was the Av Beit Din. So the Nasi was the head of the Sanhedrin, and the Av Beit Din, as the name suggests, was the head of the Beit Din. They had very different roles, and each had their own distinct, unique role, but they worked together as the leaders of the Jewish community. And so here we have, after learning about Antignos, some teachings of Antignos Ish Socha in the previous Mishnah, the third Mishnah, here in Mishnah 4 we come across two individuals, and we'll learn about them through the Mishnah itself. So let's work through the Mishnah. Yossi ben Yoezer ish Tzereda, Yossi ben Yochanan ish Yerushalayim, Kiblu Mehem. Yossi ben Yoezer was the man of Tzereda, a place called Tzereda, and he was the Nasi, he was the head of the Sanhedrin. And Yossi ben Yochanan, who is known as Ish Yerushalayim, man Yerushalayim, he was the Av Beit Din. And they received, meaning they started from Antignos Ish Socha, who was in the previous generation, and it shows the continuation of the tradition being handed down person to person. And this is what they shared as ethics. This is what Yossi ben Yoezer shares. Yossi ben Yoezer says as follows: Yehi beischa beis vad lachachamim. Your house should be a meeting place for the sages. And this is encouraging them to try and have and be surrounded by sages. So the sages would need somewhere to gather, to discuss, to meet. They didn't have the conferencing opportunities that maybe we have today, or even in the community spaces, they didn't have the spaces that we have today. So they needed somewhere to gather, and so he's encouraging them, make your house be somewhere where they feel comfortable gathering. But the reason mainly is so that you can learn and absorb from being surrounded and being being within the environment of the rabbis. As one of the classic commentaries to the Mishnah of Avadia Bar Tanura, known as the Bar Tanura, he gives the analogy of somebody who walks into a shop that sells perfumes is going to come out smelling nice. Same thing with the rabbis. If you're surrounded by the rabbis, hopefully you'll learn from their way. And he says, you should also generally loosely translated as sit amidst the dust of their feet, meaning sit at their feet and study from them, learn from them, and veheveshosa batsoma as derehem, and drink in their words with thirst, meaning like a thirsty person really wants to know and wants to drink, so too you too should in a similar way absorb, in a humble way, but absorb and drink in that which they teach to make it in part of you, absolutely part and parcel of you. And drink in that which they teach to make it in part of you.
Moving on to Sefer HaMitzvahs of the Rambam.
Oh, it's not impossible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires, I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam's connected, I remain, I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, Mitzvah Minute number 45.
Baruch Hashem, it is day number 45 of our daily study of Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs.
Right,
and in our daily study of Mishnah Torah, we are in chapters 24, 25, and 26. And in our daily study of Mishnah Torah, we are in chapters 24, we have another 5 and positive commandments. So far, we had Mishnah Torah, we had one positive commandment. We have another 5 regarding Shabbos, which means we had a negative commandment. We have another not to do any work. We had a negative commandment. We had a specific prohibition, don't kindle a fire. We had another prohibition, don't leave your place on Shabbos. We had another prohibition. So we only had one positive commandment, and even that positive commandment of Tishbais, of rest, was. So we only had one positive commandment. You're resting. It is a positive thing, but you're doing it by not doing other things. You know what I mean? You're resting. It isn't here is a real positive. You're resting. You're doing it by actually doing activity that you actually do. Get ready. Positive commandment number 155. What is positive commandment number 155? Activity that you actually do. Get ready. Positive commandment number 155. Remember. What is positive commandment number 155? What is remember number 155? Remember. You know that there are two versions of the 10 Commandments. What is remember? Remember Exodus and there's Parshas Vaskanan, the 10 Commandments. What is remember? So in the 10 Commandments, the way it's done in the mitzvah of Shabbos is different each time. There's Shomer and there's Zocher. Shomer means guard the Shabbos. Zocher way is remember the mitzvah. What's the difference between Shomer and Zocher, which we know, as you say in the Chadedi? Shomer and Zocher b'dibur echad. Really, Hashem said them both simultaneously in a way that it's impossible for a human being to produce Zocher b'dibur echad. Really miraculous, and both simultaneously in a way that it's impossible. Shomer as a Shabbos means to refrain from any of the things you're not supposed to do on Shabbos. Shomer as a Shabbos means to proactively do the things you're supposed to do on Shabbos. And biblically, what is that mean? How do you biblically perform the mitzvah of Zechiras Shabbos? And biblically, through proclaiming when Shabbos comes in, and proclaiming when Shabbos goes out. And rabbinically, we do this over a cup of wine. You may be familiar with Kiddush and Havdalah. And the way we perform the biblical mitzvah over a cup of wine and Shabbos is we proclaim the sanctity of Shabbos when it comes in. We make Kiddush. And we proclaim the mitzvah over the Zocher Shabbos leaving. We proclaim the sanctity of Shabbos workdays beginning again with Havdalah after Shabbos leaving. That is today's workdays and positive commandment 155. With Havdalah, we're going to, after doing more Shabbos, we get more Shabbos, and we'll see you tomorrow. God will positive commandment 155. With Havdalah.
Hello, everyone. Today's mitzvah, positive mitzvah number 155, is quite a fundamental one.
In fact, it's one of the 10 commandments. It is the verse that says, remember the Shabbos day to keep it holy. The sages interpret this to mean that when Shabbos comes in, we are to mention the Shabbos with words. We are to speak about its greatness, its honor, and what distinguishes it from the days that come before it and after it. This is known commonly as Kiddush. Additionally, when the Shabbos exits, we are to again mention the Shabbos with words and speak about its greatness and honor and the things that distinguish it from the days before and after. This one is called Havdalah. The rabbis told us that the Kiddush and Havdalah should both be recited over a cup of wine.
Now to all matters Mashiach. What so delays the day when Mashiach will redeem us from this exile? It's only because of the neglect of Torah study. The first 3 exiles correspond to the first patriarchs, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Therefore, the Jewish people were redeemed from those exiles in merit of the patriarchs. They will be redeemed from the 4th, the current exile, in the merit of Moshe Rabbeinu. When they will return and study Moshe's Torah, Hashem will redeem them in the merit of Moshe. That comes from the Zohar. Then the Zohar tells us that exile is prolonged because of the neglect of Torah study. Therefore, by increasing in Torah study, we negate the cause of exile and hasten the final redemption. Here's Shmuel Tzvi with more on that.
I am in the holy city of Tzfat, a northern Israel city where the secrets of Kabbalah have been revealed. This is the place where the holy Arizal, Isaac Luria, Rav Isaac Luria lived and taught and disseminated the innermost secrets of the Torah. My friends, we have the ability nowadays to learn these deep secrets. They are revealed in Chassidus, the teachings of the Chabad philosophy. The deepest secrets of Torah have been revealed and are accessible through the internet, through massive libraries, through videos. We have to dive into it, we have to learn it. This is the preparation for the Messianic era, my dear friends. Let's get ready to greet the Holy Messiah, where God, in this era, when we meet the Holy Messiah, when the Messiah comes, it will cause the world to experience a full-blown godly revelation. May it happen immediately. In this era, when we meet the Holy Messiah, when the Messiah comes, it will cause the world to experience a full-blown godly revelation. May it happen immediately.
All right, let's get to and 726-879. All right. 7 days worth of pantry food and hot meals every single day. All right. Yeah, let me just do this. All right. In Rockland County, tomcheshabbos.org, tomcheshabbos.org. In Lakewood, it's tomche.org. All right. In Rockland County, Chicago Food Bank at breakfastvalley.live/Chicago Food Bank, and breakfastvalley.live /Soup Kitchen.live/Chicago for all things and breakfastvalley.live for all things food. I'm sorry, Soup Kitchen. Achiezer.org. Achiezer.org is there for all your other needs. Please contact them at your earliest convenience. Hatzalah EMS, their Global Assist app is available. Please contact them in the App Store and the iOS their Global Assist app is available. MissOskim.org. MissOskim.org, available 24/7, 365 in times of bereavement. And just one Shabbos, beautiful organization. helping bring our lost youth back to the beauty of keeping Shabbat. All right. If you are, God forbid, the victim of progress, you need to call 911 immediately, and you should still be wearing a mask. Okay?
Mask,
Yeah.
wear a mask. Is this
Not let
really
you go.
much to ask? Tie some fabric round your face. Oh, it's the simplest of tasks. At the gym, at the store. Don't treat it like such a chore.
All right. Please wear a mask, get vaccinated, get your booster shots when they become available to you. Okay? All right. Let's bring some heaven down to earth. All right. So the Rebbe was saying that he's done all that he can. And now we have to do our part. From this point on, do whatever you can, the Rebbe says. But at that point, the Rebbe didn't retire. On the contrary, even though he was approaching his 90th year, he accelerated. Every week, another public gathering. Every Sunday, the Rebbe stood for hours greeting visitors with blessings and advice and $1 to give to charity. More teachings and writings came out than ever before. But the message was clear. The torch that had been passed down from leader to leader, from prophet to sage since Abraham, that torch has now been passed to each and every one of us. To anyone who would grab hold of it, and we are to cross the finish line with it. After 11 months, the Rebbe tidied his desk, leaving there nothing but a photo album of the families of those who worked for him. He traveled to the last time to the graveside of his father-in-law, where he fell from a major stroke. Unable to speak for more than a few words at a time, he continued providing guidance and counsel from his bed in his armchair. 2 years later, on that very same day, the Rebbe suffered another stroke. 3 months, few days afterwards, on Gimel Tammuz, the 3rd of Tammuz, the Rebbe left this earthly plane. But the Rebbe believed in our orphan post-Holocaust generation, and it is up to us not to let him down. As we approach Gimel Tammuz, the yahrzeit of the Rebbe, there is much to learn, much to do, much to accomplish. If you'd like to know more about that, come to me on social media. Any of the Actors Rabbis groups at Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, or theactorsrabbi.com, where you can sign up for life coaching services should you need some additional help. All right, let's make an after bracha.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesroinan al kol ma sheborosa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chai haolamim Yos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch Chai ha'olamim Yos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch Chai ha'olamim.
Where did our picture go? Ah, there it is.
Yos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch Chai ha'olamim.
Where did our picture go? Ah, there it is. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. All right. If you'd like to become a sponsor, go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/ tip jar. Also, if you know of anyone who I could get sponsorships from, I would love a corporate sponsor. Also, if you know of anyone, please reach out to get and let's sponsorships get some more sponsors. I would love a corporate. All right. Also, if you Tuesday, Yom Shlishi Kitev, the day that Hashem said twice it is good, so you have to double your efforts today to do something nice and good. All right. Also, we have Tuesday, a great Yom song for you today. Leiv Zahav, the golden heart. All right, you're gonna like this one. In the words of Rabbi Yom song for you today. Leiv Zahav. Hashem will do a kindness to you. Befriend a fellow by drawing them close. In the words of Rabbi Yom, drawing you close to Him. Go out and make it a great and glorious day. We're going to see Shuck on Broadway tonight. I know very little about it except that it's supposed to be hysterically funny. So I will report on that tomorrow for Broadway tonight. All right? Make it a great and glorious day and be the reason someone smiles. See you tomorrow.
הנסיך של העולם שהוא בלי מסכה תוכל אז לגלות שהאדם מולך צדיק צדיק עם קבלות יש לו לב זהב תסתכל עליו לא משנה מאיפה באת רואה גם דודק לב בכל אחד יש קוץ ושושנה מבחוץ זו עטיפה בפנים זו נשמה יש לו לב זהב תסתכל עליו לא משנה חופר לי תראה תמיד את החצי כוס המלאה חבר בלב גם אם הוא קצת שונה ממני לא משנה הצבע גם לא המוצא שהוא בלי מסכה תוכל